of Just One More Thing, a podcast about knitting and crafting. I'm Janessa, I'm the knitter.
I'm Brooklyn, and I'm the crafter.
And it's been another week of getting lots of stuff done, but not a whole lot to show for it. So it might be another kind of short podcast, but do you want to start, or do you want me to start?
I can start.
Okay. What have you been working on this week?
I'm making another pink coaster.
She's crocheting.
Mommy kind of helped me start it, but I know how to do this stitch.
I love that she is able to crochet.
I don't like knitting it though.
I'm determined. Yeah, she didn't like knitting. I'm determined to teach her to do more than just a single crochet stitch.
I'm comfortable about that.
She's completely comfortable doing only the single crochet stitch forever and ever and ever, which is fine. But I'm determined to teach her more.
Yeah, maybe today or tomorrow, because we had a 3-day weekend.
You can do more stuff if you know how to do more than just single crochet.
I know.
Because most patterns want you to at least double crochet at some point. But, so you're making a coaster?
Yeah, another pink coaster. And then
And we don't know what yarn that... It was yarn that we got at Walmart or something,
yeah,
I guess?
Yeah, pink yarn.
Go get the other one that you crocheted a while back.
This is the other one I crocheted.
And it went through the washer and it kind of
Felt it.
distorted and felt it a little bit. But it was just
Kind of got. But
mystery yarn.
I use it for my drinks. I put my cup on it.
Yeah. It works for what you need it to.
Yeah.
And it was one that she crocheted all by herself.
Mm-hmm.
So what have you been drawing on?
I'll just put it right here.
Just put it over to the side.
So, yesterday, I went back to the Masterpiece game again. Like drawing. My first drawing was, I colored it even. This one's Shifty. It's kind of got long hair, you can kind of see. He's a medical pup. And then, this one is, what do you call those things? Are they like Devon tarts or something like that?
What?
I put this word so I can not find more, but how do you pronounce that?
I do not know.
It's a sort of drawing, but
I've never heard of that word. I'll have to look it up.
Anyways, they have these Mission Paw, well, Paw Patrol, there's a Paw Patrol segment called Mission Paw. It's where they are all spies, or trying to defeat the royal pup Sweetie, who is she's nice to Princess, but evil to the Paw Patrol for some reason.
And that was one of the people that helped with that mission?
No, this is Ryder.
I guess I don't understand what you're trying to explain.
What I mean is, I've been drawing Mission Paw Devon charts of the Paw Patrol pups.
Okay. Why don't you just show the picture?
Here's the picture.
It's hard to see because all you're going to see is the color through the back.
There you go. Sorry, there's color on the back. But, and then I kept seeing this, so I decided, I wanted to draw this because it's funny. It's Ryder if he was a magical, like if he was like a pony or something.
Ryder if he was a pony? Looks like a My Little Pony.
It is.
Interesting. What's this one?
Oh, I forgot to do that one. I'm still coloring her. She's not a medical pup. I haven't colored her name yet, but I freehand her.
Okay.
That's all I have to show.
Very cool. Well, I worked mostly... Actually, I have some finished objects. Can you throw your feet up in the air?
Some socks, slippers.
I last week, okay, you can put your foot down. Here, just take one off and show it so I can show it.
I like my feet up in the air. Fine.
You got all fuzz from the ground on them. They were walking on my slippers that I made them. How dare they? So
Their feet.
I know I'm being sarcastic. So last week I showed you some slippers that I had made for myself, which were basically just socks knit with bulky weight yarn, which is what this is. It's absolutely nothing fancy, no pattern. I do toe-up socks when I knit socks, which has been forever ago. And do just like a short row heel and then a really short cuff because I don't like long socks. So that's what I had made for myself for slippers, and then both of the kids decided that they wanted slippers as well. So here's Brooklyn's pair,
Emerson's wearing
which I could easily wear myself because
they're the same size.
she's got the same size feet as me now. So it was basically like knitting a second pair for myself. Mine, which I knit using, I can't reach the yarn. I used an actual bulky weight yarn for mine, the full circle from Knit Picks. This was
2 strands of pink yarn.
I'm trying to think of where the
Label is.
I didn't throw the tag away. It was Plymouth yarn.
Mm-hmm.
It was Plymouth was the brand. It's some that we got when we were in Oklahoma City over the summer that she had picked out when we went to a yarn store.
Yeah.
It was that yarn.
Hey, isn't that my yarn?
Aren't these your slippers?
Yeah.
There you go. You're welcome. I made you something out of your yarn. Isn't that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. So yeah, this was a worsted weight yarn that I held double in order to get the bulky size that I needed. And they really do like stand up by themselves. They're very, very stiff yarn. So they're pretty substantial and they're pretty cushy, I think. And the nice part about this is it's mostly acrylic. So I think it's machine safe. I'll have to find the ball tag and look again. But I won't have to do much hand washing with these. Emerson's that I made him are on his feet and he's outside. So I can't show you those, but maybe I'll try to get a picture.
I think they're blue and gray.
Like, I have the yarn. Let me show you the yarn. Somewhere. Here it is. Here's some of the yarn that I used to make it. It's just kind of a blue and gray. It's not so much a bulky as it is like an Aran weight yarn. A heavy worsted. It was some Manos del Uruguay that I got many, many years ago when I took part in a yarn cooperative. What?
I want slipper back. My foot's getting cold.
It's getting cold. Sorry.
It's like freezing out here today.
It is. It's very cold here today. We're at our high right now and it's only 42. I love cold weather.
Really?
I do. I love cold weather. I like being wrapped up in my knit things. So where was I? Yes, Manos del Uruguay that I got many years ago when I took part in a yarn cooperative, like a bunch of people went together and bought wholesale basically. I don't know that it really saved me any money because you had to buy so much in order to get the savings, but whatever. I made his out of this, and they're much smaller because he's a much tinier person. But those are my finished objects for the week. I'm kind of rambly today.
What about that blanket over there?
What blanket over there?
By your lap?
That's not finished.
Well, it's like a work in progress.
I'm going to talk about it. I'm not done yet.
Oh. I thought you were done.
No, I'm not done yet. I'm done with my finished objects for the week, or the slippers. Those are the two things that I managed to finish this week.
Oh.
So now, on to works in progress. Oh, this is a funny podcast today. So since Brooklyn wants me to talk about it, I'll talk about it. I did a couple more Hex Puffs and attached them to this very, very small, who knows what it'll end up being. Just depends on how many Hex Puffs I attach to it. Maybe it's going to be a seat cushion. Maybe it'll...
Or it can be one of my blankets for my stuffed animals.
No. It's not. Sorry, kiddo. This one's all mine. Maybe it'll, like, be decorative on my footstool in front of my chair.
Yeah.
Maybe... I don't know what it'll end up being. But I did attach a few more things to it. This one... and this one were some of the hand spun yarn that I used in my starting point shawl, and it was the yarn that looked like this, and some of it striped, and then eventually I used some of it that was like marled colored, and those were from the marled ones. I used quite a bit of it in the starting point, and I had just a little bit left over, so that's what I was making the Hex Puffs out of. And as I was making them, because I don't know if you know this, but it's basically like you're starting with the toe of a sock. You're basically knitting teeny tiny little sock shapes and then closing them into hexagons. Anyway, I kind of kicked myself that I never made myself socks out of this yarn, because they would have been the prettiest socks in all the world. But that was all I had left of them. And now I'm kind of sad that that yarn's gone and I want more.
Are they available anywhere?
It was my hand spun yarn, honey.
Oh.
I'd have to, I don't even know where I got the fiber from. It was so long ago, I'd have to find more fiber. Oh well, c'est la vie. So I did kind of attach quite a few more little hexagons onto those. And because I'm working this scrap project concurrently with, let me
That's a pretty
make sure.
blanket.
I know. This scrap project, I put a few more rows onto it. The last time I showed you, I was down here at this purple. So I put in all this brown and the maroon and the very, very small amount that was left of that marled yarn that I just talked about. And now we're back into some random sock scraps that I don't know what they are. But basically from this set here all the way up to there is all hand spun yarn. So that was a nice little section to work on. I was inspired to get this back out and start working on it again when I was watching the Stranded podcast, blah, 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 blah. The Stranded podcast with Amy Florence, and she had finished like an entire bed-sized quilt granny stripe blanket. And that made me really want to work on mine and actually get it to blanket size. Also because I realized that I only have like one really nice knit blanket in the house, hand knit blanket, and that is, I think maybe I showed this like way back in episode 1 or something, but that's my 10 stitch blanket made out of scraps. So this is kind of the only usable one that I have at the moment, and I think maybe we need a couple more. So we have one on the couch and one in the other chair, and everyone can be snuggled under a nice warm knit blanket if I ever get this one done. So I worked on those two little things. The other main project that I worked on was Mom's buffalo vest. And it is coming along nicely. I held it up to Brooklyn, who's roughly the same size as my mom, and measured it on her. And I have like most of the width of the back done. It still has to come out and up and over the shoulder. So there's still a lot of knitting to do on this project, but we're getting there. So this edge up here will hang like that's what goes across the back.
Blue.
And it's just a provisional cast. That'll come out. That won't stay in.
Oh.
And then this part down here is like the flouncy skirt part that hangs across the back. So I'm liking it. It's coming along nice. I'm still unsure of the yarn situation and if I'll run out or not. I'm hoping I still have quite a bit of this ball left. Plus I have this ball. And I have my swatch. I don't know. The rational side of me says you're not going to have enough yarn, honey. You're going to run out of yarn and you're going to have to order more and you might as well just get to it and order more. But then the hopeful part of me says that's enough yarn because you don't eat up all that much per row. Like each row isn't taking all that much yarn. And I don't know. I'm doing battle with my mind on whether or not I'll have anywhere near enough. I'm gonna kind of assess and see where I am when I get to the point where my flounce is big enough to, you know, reach up and around over the shoulders and see how much I have left before I really decide. Should I order more? Should I not order more? Should I spend a completely different third yarn to use for the little panel on the back? I don't know. We'll see what happens. When I get through the second ball, I'm going to, like, seriously reassess the situation going on with the yarn. It's not a good plan, but it's the plan I'm working with. Because that's the kind of knitter I am. The other project that has been keeping me very, very busy, because that is nowhere near my usual standard for weekly knitting. I usually knit quite a bit more than that. But I am this close to having my pattern, the Chasing Rivers pattern, ready. Where's my swatch? Here it is.
I thought the gray one was too. That's a big swatch.
It's just a swatch. So this is just the swatch of the pattern, but it is just nearly ready to call for test knitters, which is going to happen next week. Because it's all completely charted. I just have to get it into written form. Like I have to transfer everything over into like one single document, so that, because right now I have like notes over here and I have the chart here, and I need to like format the written instructions so that they all make sense. And that's this week's project.
While she was talking, I was doing about 2 more rows.
Yeah, you got some done. So this week sometime, I'm hoping for like midweek by like Wednesday. But it might be more like Friday I don't know how long it'll take. Regardless, sometime in the next week, I'll be calling for test knitters. I don't know. I'm struggling with whether or not to get it tech edited. I know that I should get it tech edited, especially it being my first pattern and all, but I don't know the turnaround time. So I might like find somebody to do the tech editing whilst people are test knitting. I don't know. I don't know the turnaround time on tech editing. I might have to look into that. But yeah, so if you would be interested in being a test knitter, it's going to be DK weight yarn. I don't have final yardage worked out yet, so that is also part of getting that done this week. Solid colors or very lightly speckled would work best. I'm trying to think of other details that I know for sure. I'll put up a thread in the Ravelry group that I'll direct people to if they want to be test knitters. So if that's something that you think you might want to help me out with, it would be appreciated. Spread the word. So yay, that's almost done, and hopefully by like mid-November-ish, end of November, I'll have that pattern up on Ravelry. My first published pattern.
Yeah, but
self-published.
Don't you knit? I know you crochet and knit left-handed, but you have to switch everything to right. That's the biggest struggle, right?
Yes. And that was part of the challenge of deciding whether or not I could design something. But then I found a very helpful tool called Stitch Mastery. It's a computer program. You do have to pay for it, but it's not outrageous. I think it's like £60. Because it's UK based program. So it's really 60 or 70, I can't remember. It's really not that expensive in the grand scheme of things, of looking at computer programs that could do this. But anyway, like, I can chart it out in the direction that I knit. So all of my notes are written in the direction that I knit. So I can chart everything out in that direction. But then it outputs written instructions in the way that most normal knitters would knit. So it does all the flipping for me, which is nice. So I didn't have to do a lot of conversions.
Wait, it already flips it for you?
Yeah, because even though, like, I'm typing in the instructions going this way, it's writing out the instructions going that way.
Wow.
Yeah. It does all the work for you. It's really nice. It's
cool.
Very, very nice. It makes designing super easy. Not super, super easy. I mean, you still have to come up with the design and do the math and yada, yada, yada. But
how do you come up with the pattern name?
Well, when I was looking for inspiration for the pattern, I came across a picture. I might be able to find the picture. I don't know where my phone is. There was a picture of the Colorado River Delta. So when I was working on the design for the pattern, I saw this picture on Instagram of the Colorado River Delta, which doesn't actually reach the Sea of Cortez. It kind of just dies in the middle of the desert. And so you get this really dried out kind of branching effect of all the little channels off of the main river,
So that was a
reaching
branch.
out into the desert. And it made me think of when I was doing the fade, the increases that you do in brioche, kind of, you get these neat little branches off of the increases. And that was kind of my inspiration for doing the increases the way that I did, but also for getting the different kinds of branches coming off of those increases. So that was the inspiration between the thicker cables and the thinner twisting vines kind of reaching out into the large pearl fabric. Kind of reminded me of the desert. So that was my inspiration for that shawl. That's kind of where I came up with the design. But that has been a fun and exciting thing to work on. I'm actually starting to, jot down notes and ideas for other patterns that I want to write up and put out there onto Ravelry. So I'm going to kind of take this designing thing by the horns and run with it and see where it goes. Be a knitwear designer. I can do that. I can be a knitwear designer.
A knitwear designer?
A knitting designer. I can design knitting patterns.
Yeah, you
I
can.
think I'd be good at that. So I'm going to do it. You heard it here first. Janessa Keller, the knitwear designer. Anything else you want to talk about?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, we will finish up then, and we will see you next week. Until then, I hope you have a happy Halloween, because that's coming up next week on Tuesday. Eat lots of candy. Send me all your Reese's Cups. They're my favorite. I always instruct the kids when they go out. Always pick the Reese's Cup. They're mommy's favorite. I still love the Reese's Cups, don't I?
Well, we you don't know what the, well, you don't know if the person's gonna give out candy. You don't know if the person's gonna hand you out.
Well, but usually when they hold out a bowl and there's like 3 options and Reese's is one of them, you should always pick the Reese's cup. Always. It's my favorite.
Yeah, we also get those Reese's eggs.
Yeah, I like those too. I might hide them in the freezer and eat them while they're at school. Don't do that. Don't tell Emerson.
What?
That mommy hoards the candy. Those are the only ones that I really like the best. Those are my favorites. That's my favorite Halloween candy. What's your favorite Halloween candy?
I like I don't know what I like, but
You like it all?
mostly the peanut butter ones.
Yeah.
Like any peanut butter ones I like.
So I shouldn't steal all your Reese's cups? Is that what you're telling me? I should be better. I should be nicer.
And what? Well, did you know they make these heads? They can be about the size of your head, Reese's peanut butter cups.
That might be a little too much Reese's peanut butter cups. There are limits. There's limits. All right. Well, we will let you go. Have a happy Halloween, and we'll see you again next week.
Bye.